Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel. And today we have another Friday night pen thoughts. And this is episode number 11. And now we need to write the date and say it in Portuguese. So it is Lisboa, 28 de maio de 2021. And so again, welcome to this video. I'm not sure if today's video will be very long, but actually I cannot promise anything because I never know. But I don't have lots of stuff to talk about, at least as I think. So, let's start with the first part of the video, which is always pens for today. And today both these pens are a little bit too wet for this paper, I would say. But not that bad, to believe through. But they are writing too thick in this paper. So today we have this pen that I'm using now. It is a pen that is not mine. I received it from Appleboom for review. It will be sent back. You'll have the link below as well as the 10% discount code. So this is a retractable pen, and this is the Lamy Dialogue 3, very smooth pen in matte black, and ink it has inside is Monblanc Racing Green. This is an ink that is discontinued now for some time, and it is a very dark green. Actually, it looks like black, and I see that this ink feathers a little bit in this paper, and maybe because also this nib is a M nib and maybe a little bit too wet for this paper. The second pen that I'm using, it will not make a lot of contrast as I usually like, but that's what we can do. It is the Duquesa, and I'll say it in English, it's easier. This is the Duquesa 1935 Antiqua in yellow and with Parker Quink black, and this is a Parker Quink black, but this pen really has an interesting steel nib that makes a very nice noise when you use it over a smooth paper, a coated paper. It makes like a squeaking noise. So the vintage nib is really nice if you like to have some line variation. And it looks like it's out of alignment, but believe me, it makes no difference when you write. This pen is interesting. I received this pen for review. It was on my list, my wish list for this year, and I was contacted by the producer of the pen, and he asked me if I would like to review it, and I said yes. So he sent me the yellow one, which is the one that I would prefer. Here is the Duquesa, and I've been using the pen. I've been using it with some Parker Quink Blue. Now I'm with Parker Quink Black. I'm using it to be able to make the review, and so far I find the pen quite nice. The resin doesn't look like those super expensive resins, but I think it is nice. There are maybe two annoying things about this pen. One is the lever filling system, which doesn't stay in place. If you rotate the pen like this, if you let it down, it will fall down this little bit. It's not much, it's not a big problem, but it does fall down. It doesn't stick there firmly. So I think I will start putting a little bit of those, I don't really know how to say, those like sticky things. It is like a sticky dough that you put to place posters and photos on the walls. Maybe just a little thing beneath will keep it in place when it is closed. But this is something that may happen, and I understand that. The other thing that I understand that also has happened with this pen is the ink capacity is quite on the low side. So I would say it may take as much ink as a short international cartridge. So for me it is okay, because I prefer to change inks frequently than to be using always the same. But this is something that you should be aware of if you're thinking in buying one of these pens. So it is a little expensive if you consider it may have these little flaws. Can we call them flaws? But I have to say that the pen still is worth it by the concept. The concept alone is amazing, the nib is quite good, so I find it interesting. I will use it a little bit more before I make the final review with it, but it has these small things, but overall it is quite a good pen. So I don't want to spend much more time now talking about it. Now, we'll go to the next topic of this video, and the next topic will be, I will put here because it is useful for me then to put timestamps and to know which topics I addressed. And the first one will be previous videos, just to the previous videos that I made one unboxing video, and the unboxing video was of, let me cap the pen, the video was about the unboxing of this pen, an interesting nice pen, the Kaigelu 356, which is a Kaigelu pen but not in the standard Parker Dual Fold kind of design. It's more like a Sailor 1911 kind of design, and I found a very nice ink to put inside it, which is the Diamine Ink Vent Calendar Blue Peppermint. It is a color that has some shimmering, and it goes very well with the overall color of the pen and such. I really like it. I also made a video with my Lisbon purchases, and I bought several stuff that you saw, and let me put again the pen side. What did I buy here in Lisbon? And I showed you. I bought one Eberhard Faber Freestyle, which is a kind of a plastic school pen with a purple nib. I bought a Osama, which is an Italian pen, an interesting one, but with a Chinese nib, and we'll be talking about countries a little bit later. I also bought a Lamy 26P. I had a Lamy 25P that I traded with Wasky Squirrel, so now I got the chance to get this one, which it would be nice just to make another different review, although the pen is basically the same. Then we have two Stypen pens, which are red, and they may be part of some giveaway soon. And I also got another Stypen Up, which is this little Stypen pen that it has a retractable nib. In this one, the system was a little bit stiff, and I put some silicone grease, and now it works a little bit smoother. Let's take the pens away, and finally, I made also two reviews. And the two reviews that I made were of this pen, the Lamy Safari Original Terra Red, which is the 2021 edition of the Lamy Safari, one of the colors, and I made also of a Parker 51 Special, which I no longer have because I sold it, so I don't have the pen here to show you. Now, let's see which videos will come next. And again, as I told you in last week, I may not have lots of time to make many videos, so I will not promise a lot, but however, this week I made videos almost every day, so who knows, but I will not promise a lot. However, for the next videos, I'm thinking about some reviews. I'm not sure they will be both next week, but one is the Gravitas Steel Skull edition, which is this beautiful pen that has skulls engraved on the barrel and the cap. It is an amazing pen, all metal, that writes really well, has a awesome balance, and I think it's very trendy. So this will be one of the reviews that I'll be posting soon. I will not promise it will be next week, but it will be one of the next reviews, and another one will be of this one. And this one is a Kaweco AL Sport Silver, and this is a review of a pen. It is already recorded. It is a very basic Kaweco pen on their regular lineup. It has been there for much time. I have this pen for a long time also, not for that time, but that long, but I have this pen for some time, and this one was missing, and I'm trying to review all the Kaweco pens I have, because for some collectors it is useful to find the exact same, even though we are just talking sometimes about color variation, but that's something we will talk again soon. Now, let me take this away, and there is also a choice, and I know you like this kind of votings. I guess you like, I do. So, to vote, you have two videos that you can choose from. One is a collection overview that will include let me grab a pen that will include the collection overview of my Terra or color or coral colored pens, this kind of tone. So let's call it Coral Terra, or a versus video which will have two big competitors. One will be the Monblanc 149 and the other one will be the Sailor King of Pen. So please vote in one of these two, because both videos are already recorded and I will publish the one that gets more votes. So this will not be a problem in terms of time for recording, because they are recorded. I just need to maybe to make the thumbnails and the video description, but the video themselves are already recorded. And let's talk about the pens that I got recently, which were those that I showed you, so I don't think there is much need to talk a lot about them. Were all those pens. So actually I had a lot of variety, although I think red is winning here in this collection, but fun thing to get. And I'm waiting for some pens now on the mail, and there will be two Italian pens, two Aurora pens that will be coming someday soon, and there will be also an Indian pen coming. I don't know when, but there will be. So there will be nice stuff to review one of those days, and I will show you, of course, when starting immediately on the unboxing videos. So the recent pens have already been shown. Now it is time to talk to you about the uncommon pen of the day, and it will be the Feliza Academica. So, the Feliza Academica is a pen that you may have never heard of unless you watch my videos, or if you are a Portuguese or something like that. And the Feliza Academica is this pen. I have four. I think I have two more, but in the same colors. So, the Feliza Academica is a Portuguese pen, and that I think it makes it uncommon because there weren't that many Portuguese pens. And this is an interesting pen. It was a student's pen, and so it is quite a low-end pen that you'll find on the flea markets, quite inexpensively, but they are not in good condition. So let's take a look. I have a review so you can check it. Let's take the green. I have here a green, a red or burgundy, and you can see the cap is not straight with the barrel. It's kind of in a strange angle. I have a black one and a blue one. I think these kind of colors were quite typical for sets of pens. And let's take a look. We have here, let's see if I can show it to you. Put the light a little bit stronger. Let's go for the reflex. I think hope the focus will hold. Is that upside down? I can't even see well here on camera. No, it is upside down now. Let me try with the blue one to see if it is easier. Okay, I'm not sure if you can really see it, but what's written there is in an arch on top Indústrias, in the middle Feliza, and beneath it's written Portugal. So, Indústrias Feliza Portugal was a brand, a Portuguese brand that was created in 1940 and apparently ended in 1951, but we are not completely sure of the end date. And so they made several pens, many were inspired in famous models like some Conklin models, and these came of course from the Parker 51. And what you see is an arrow-shaped clip like that remembers Parker 51. Then you have a band on the cap, the barrel which is kind of Parker 51 type, and you have a clear jewel on top. The pen, the cap slides off and you see a hooded nib like that with the feed coming out of the hood, and you will see a very small nib that is not even tipped. It's just bent in that way to make the tip of the nib. Another interesting thing that I don't know if that's interesting or just kind of sad is that the jewel on top is just a transparent piece of plastic, so you can see it is just a transparent piece of plastic, and you unscrew the barrel to access the filling system, which is this one. I think it was never used. It has this color because it is really naturally stained. I tried to fill them with water and they don't hold water, so you have this kind of syringe fill like this. Actually it is a piston filler, but without a turning knob. You just have to manually use the piston, but it doesn't hold a seal anymore, and this part is not removable. So if one needed to make his work again, this needed to be changed, but I don't really think there is a point in doing that because these pens are just bad, but they are unusual. And let me just show you the clip that has an arrow shape, but it doesn't say Parker. It says Académica, and Académica means related to school. And you can see there also on the top it says Feliza, which is the name of the brand. Then you have a shield with it, which is a part of the coat of arms of the Portuguese flag, and then the Académica. So this was a school pen. It was very inexpensive. I've seen them on the flea market with cracked plastic parts, with bent, deformed, and none of mine really hold water well. So they are not good pens, but I think they are interesting because they are Portuguese. However, there was another Feliza model that there were more high-end Feliza models, and I wish I had one of those because there are some other that really look amazing, and some have another types of symbols of Portugal, which is nice. Some even with an open nib and with the symbols marked on the nib. So it would be nice. So this is just to show you that Portuguese brands also had their inspiration in some well-known brands, and yes, there were Portuguese pens, although not that common. You won't find them easily on the flea markets, but when you find, you'll get one for maybe €1 or €2. You can get them, but be sure you will not be able to use them because they will not work. This one has this clear thing, and this one was one of the best too, but if you try to fill it with water and if you let like this, it will drip ink slowly because the seal is broken somewhere. So I think that this one, the blue one, may be the nicest. It needs to be polished to be in a nice shape, but these are pens that I just got because I'm Portuguese and the pens are Portuguese. just that explanation. And I had to bring them here because they are unusual. And now let's go for those main topics that I talk about several times. And the first topic of today is YouTube. Disney is fun. The first topic will be YouTube. And what do I have to say about YouTube? There's a lot to say about YouTube. Okay, I wanted just to talk how I address all these YouTube stuff. Some people sometimes ask me, why do I do this? I don't like to be a very public person, and some people that I know from some family or friends, when some of them found that I had a YouTube channel, they asked me, but you don't like to show in public things, and you are in YouTube? No, but okay, you know that you only see my hands regularly, so there's not that much exposure. However, I started, we are talking about YouTube and about pens. I started this YouTube channel just because I started using fountain pens really soon in my life, and I always enjoy them. Even when I was in the seventh grade, maybe, I decided myself, in my brains, in my crazy head, that being a writer would be a nice thing, and I liked to do that. I like to write, and so I made like a little mix-up between the concept of having nice pens to write with and being able to write well, which is not that direct. It's like being a professional photographer or an artist in photography. It's not get the nicest camera you can and you'll have the best pictures you possibly get. It's not like that. It's not the tool, or it's mainly not the tool. It's mostly your talent, but mostly your work or dedication. Okay, I mixed the concepts up, but that's a thing. And I dived into fountain pens a lot, and I got fountain pens myself, and I think I was quite young when I bought a fountain pen myself. Maybe my friends were buying some video games and I was buying fountain pens. And later, when my grandfather died, he left me a few of his pens, and I started diving more into pens. Then I got my first job, and I finally had some money to afford buying my pens. So I've been using pens for a very long time, maybe for 30 years now, and more regularly for maybe 18 years. So yes, I use fountain pens for a long time. And in 2011, maybe, one friend insisted that maybe I should create a fountain pen blog to talk about pens, because I usually was very passionate when I was talking about this to someone else. And I resisted a little bit, but I made the blog, and then I created a YouTube channel, but I didn't upload any videos. And then at some time I decided to upload videos. So in my YouTube channel, you don't really see that interesting journey that some YouTubers have, that they are starting using fountain pens, and they use and they discover new pens, and they go along and buy and sell and such. Yes, I buy a lot of pens, but I'm not just discovering them. Some of them I already know. I'm not saying that I have a lot of knowledge about pens. Not that. I'm just saying that I'm not that new to fountain pens, and I'm discovering new brands. I'm not just discovering how is to use a fountain pen for real writing, because I used that for a long time. And so I made this YouTube channel. But as you may have understood or understand now, I'm not very good in doing well-made stuff. And I try to make the content that I find that is useful. I try to make it regularly because I find it interesting to do. And I've been working constantly with this, but you will not find in my videos a lot of production value like you may see on other YouTubers. You will see Doug Rathman that makes very good videos and with lots of editing, and you could see the Matt Armstrong's videos. They are still available online, and he had a very professional production for his videos. I don't do that. I have a little light here, which is a lume cube. I have an umbrella in this side, and I light my... That's why there's shadows and stuff. I light my videos in a very basic way. I use my very old and stained burlap background, which is kind of my mark, my identity, and that's what I do. And if you ask me, and you have a fancy camera to record? No, I just record everything with my cell phone, and I got a better microphone, so to be able to make these videos better. But it's really very simple. Then I edit them on my computer in very simple software, and I usually just put some segments together, some video segments together, and not really lots of editing. I tried not to spend too much time in editing. It doesn't mean I don't like what I do and that you didn't deserve better things, but I think it's kind of my style. I don't like to edit a lot. I like to go on and let's see what comes out. So that's what I've been doing. And why do I still do this? I still do this because this is still fun. And although this is not that kind of journey of using fountain pens for the first time, it is a journey because of the YouTube channel, I have access to new releases, to some people sending me pens for review, to some brands. If you ask me, it is very easy and you get pens all the time. No, I don't. Most times I have to buy pens myself because I'm not that well known. I'm not that famous. I did not reach even 3,500 subscribers, so it's not about being very well recognized. I think the only thing in which I am more recognized is about Kaweco pens, because I have a huge Kaweco Sport collection. So it's more on that side. However, sometimes I get free pens, and it is a lot of fun to be passionate about something and receive the pens. And so I try to do that, and I try to pay some of my pens through the money that the advertising of YouTube pays. However, they are now cutting 24% of the revenue for creators outside the USA, so there will be a little less money coming in, and it's not a lot. Don't think that I'm rich because of this, and if I was rich I would spend it all in pens, I know. And sometimes some of the links for some pens some of them are affiliate links, so I may have commission of the sales if they got sold, but I try to link every pen as far as I can, even if it is an affiliate link or not. Mostly they are not, so I just try to make it and to spread the word about fountain pens, and to spread the habit of writing with pens. So this is how I make the channel going. So mostly I pay everything by myself, not a lot of advertising money, but some, which is nice. So I could already buy a couple of pens, of nicer pens, with that money, but don't think that I will ever be rich about that. And that's it. Not a very good production, not a good camera, not anything, but I really like to try to deliver interesting videos, sometimes showing more uncommon pens and going all over the world and all over the styles of pens that I have to show. More expensive, less expensive. I think everything counts. And I think that this will bring us to the last topic, that I hope it will be a little bit shorter. And the last topic is: does it still make sense to categorize pens by country of manufacturer? This pen is skipping. I don't think it's the nib. I'm not yet used to the way it feels because I got this pen very recently and I think I rotated a little bit too much. So, does it still make sense to categorize the pens from their origin? I think that is an interesting question, but I don't know if I have very interesting stuff to say about it. So, I think we can nowadays, let's not talk about vintage pens or something like that. Let's talk about real time today, and I think we can put our pens into maybe, let's forget those specially made pens like the Gravitas or the Duquesa that are special stuff. Let's talk about the brands and the countries that the brands are from. So as I was saying, I think we can divide the fountain pen production over 3 main countries, and those will be Germany, with pens such as the Lamy 2000 steel, very nice pen, although I had that accident with it. Italy, with these beautiful Santini Libra in olive. Japan, and I have here a little bit older pen, a Pilot Costume 67. And finally, China. Yes, we still have India and we still have United States and United Kingdom and some other places, but these I think will be the main thing. And we talk a lot of times we talk about the brands that the pens and how pens are made. So we have that idea of the pens coming from Germany, of having a very special design, very related to their utility, like this Lamy, which is very simple. The nib showing is not the star of the pen. It just works well, and it is usually well engineered, although it has plastic parts inside of this piston thing, which doesn't make that strong. So, and we have also the Kaweco Sport, which has more industrial feeling, or the Lamy Safari, and we usually say, oh, they are well engineered and they are strong and more on the ugly side. That's what we usually think about German pens. But sometimes we have also a pen like this that is German, and you can't forget, although this one is now broken, yes, it is a good looking pen. So it's not only those very simple and almost rude pens. No, not that at all. Then we think about Italian pens, and we think about them as special pens that use very special materials. And yes, in a way they have beautiful, some of them have beautiful materials. This Santini is very beautiful. It even has a nib made in-house, which is very nice. And I'm thinking also about Leonardo, that has wonderful materials. So these may be true, and usually they are pens that are well made and more expensive than the other counterparts from other parts of the world. And then we have this one also, a vintage pen with a specific design. They have a history of fountain pens in Italy. Then we have the Japanese pen that many people say, though, they are not very flashy, they are very simple. You don't have lots of very interesting details on those pens, but they are just good and right. So they are like the Germans from the East. But actually, we are thinking about a very simple pen, but when we look at those Namiki, Makie editions, are they that ugly? And when we look at these Sailor King of Pen, is that a regular looking pen? I don't think so. So there is that. And then finally we also have that thing about Chinese pens, that we say, oh, they are all very cheap pens and they are cheaply made. I have to say that the Chinese pens are getting more expensive and they are getting very good. It's not those kind of pens that used to got for 1 or 2 euros each and then they would fail because they wouldn't write very well. No, nowadays they write well, they are well made, they are nice looking. If we can generalize something, we can say they are, most of the brands are making copies of other pens instead of making their own designs, and that may be a lack of imagination. But when you look now, you have brands, I don't have it one here, but you think about brands like Pen BBS and they make lots of their own innovative designs. So is that true? Does it make sense to group the pens by country of origin? In a way, maybe, but sometimes I wonder if that's really true. If I would think about this German pen to really have a metal thread here on the piston, but it has a plastic thread that can break, and I broke this one. So was this what I was expecting of a German brand? Does it make sense? Or we shouldn't make these kind of generalizations, because the pens are getting done all over the world and some are good, some are not. But I cannot say that the Chinese pens are all bad, or it's not possible to say that. You can find Parker pens that are not good, they are made in France. And what do we mean about this? I'm not really sure of what we should think. When I look at pens, I think sometimes we can say that the Japanese pens will have different nib widths. So we have to say that, to think that the fine of a Japanese pen is like a Western extra fine. Okay, but besides that, I find it more and more hard and unfair to judge pens from its origin. I think this is really a nice pen, and it is a Chinese. I don't think if we are just saying bad things about the country because of other political stuff, not maybe because of what they really mean in the world of pens. So this is some kind of thought that is not that well structured, I know, but it is something that I've been thinking about. Does it make sense to say that this pen is Italian or somewhere else? And many times when you have a pen from one country, you have components that were made in other country. Santini is all made in Italy, yes, so that's a good thing. But you can find, for example, the Leonardo pens, they have the resin made in Italy, but the nibs are made in Germany. So we have lots of real variations here. I don't think it is fair anymore to separate the pens by country. I don't think so. However, because I think it's a normal thing for us to make categories of things, when I make my videos about the pens with ink for each month, I always say this pen is from Portugal, this one is from France, and now this one is from Ireland. I always say these kind of things because it may not be fair to judge if the pen is good or bad or has specific characteristics, but I think it is a normal thing to know where the pens come from, and we do the same thing with people. Sometimes it matters to know where they come from, even we don't have any kind of prejudice after that about people. So this is just some random thought. I would like to know what you think about that, because I don't really think it's fair anymore to separate the pens from their origin. But I'm not sure. So this is my video for today. I hope you enjoyed. I have to thank you all for watching and keep coming for these Friday night pen thoughts videos, and let's start. I'm just aligning the clip with the lever. Let's just hope you have a very nice weekend that's starting today, and we will meet again here soon. Bye.